Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm SeeC, and I'll be bringing you another cast from the Reddit Dota 2 League. This is going to be the second game between Function and the Mega Creeps. It looks like they played a best of 2 qualifier, so this will be the second of those matches. And let's hop right into the ban phase that's already going on. From Function, their first ban out is going to be the Nyx Assassin, and from the Mega Creeps, their first two bans are going to be the Templar Assassin and the Bat Rider, with Function choosing to ban out the Shadow Demon this game. Shadow Demon had a big impact on the last game, so they are justified in banning that. Nyx Assassin, also quite an annoying hero to lane against, to play against, really for anything like that. Templar Assassin, very good mid hero, not usually a first round ban or pick anymore, but she definitely has her niche uses, and there is definitely still reason to ban her out, even if you just don't want to play against her, and that's a perfectly viable reason. Bat Rider is usually banned out for that reason as well, as he is an incredible mid hero and can pretty much dominate that lane, or really any lane. He is a fantastic jungler, so banning him out, quality play. Mega Creeps pick up Puck as their first hero, Function pick up Treant Protector, and looking for their second now. And I just want to say, Treant Protector is still absolutely ridiculous. First pick ban material almost every game anymore. It just seems like everyone is picking him up and realizing the power of that living armor. Even if that was the only skill he had at all, he would still be an incredible hero. If he had nothing else, let alone the Leech Seed, the invisibility, the overgrowth, all very good skills as well. But that living armor just so ridiculous right now. It's just an incredible skill to have. Visage is going to be the next pickup out of Function, so it looks like they already have their two supports. And Treant Protector, not the best tri-lane hero, not the best real good laner overall, to be honest. He wins every other lane pretty much, except his own, because he doesn't really offer much to his own lane. He offers a lot to every other lane on the map. So Visage is there to make up for that if they do decide to tri-lane, as Visage is one of the best tri-lane heroes as far as damage goes, especially in an aggressive tri-lane, as Visage can do an absolutely immense amount of damage, and on top of that has the Gravekeeper's Cloak that'll apply a very, very nice slow, so he can get some more last hits in. So a very good tri-lane hero there, hopefully there to make up for the Treant Protector's lack. Mega Creeps pick up Puck and Rubik for their first two. Looks like they already got their mid-hero. They don't want to really sacrifice and risk getting good mid-heroes banned out. And considering they already banned out the Templar Assassin and the Bat Rider, it looks like they really, really wanted that Puck. They didn't want to risk him getting banned out in that second round or anything, so they didn't even bother with it. They just picked him right away. Rubik, another very solid support as usual. He's become very picked. He's been very picked, constantly picked all the time, every game it seems like, but that is because he is incredibly good. His lift, his telekinesis rather, his fade bolt, magic resist, spell steal, he just has the whole good kit. So Mega Creeps choose to ban out the Weaver here, banning out the off lanes, and Weaver is definitely a good off lane slash carry kind of thing, and he's really fallen into favor a lot more lately as that role, as he is just so slippery between Sakuchi and the time lapse, and usually a Lincoln Sphere as a first or second item. He tends to be a very, very slippery one to deal with, and very tough to deal with unless you have a lot of really good lockdown. That said, Puck and Rubik are great lockdown, especially Puck with the silence as well as his ultimate, stunning and locking someone in place. So he does have great lockdown, but they just clearly don't want to deal with it. So Gyro and the Phantom Lance are going to be banned out from Function, banning out carries at this point, as they just don't want to have anything to do with something like a Phantom Lancer anymore. Phantom Lancer is still incredible despite being nerfed. As you can see, he is just still an incredible pick, especially if you pick up something like the Keeper, and the Keeper is still in the pool, so presumably the Mega Creeps could go Keeper PL, and there is nothing Function could do about it if they didn't ban him out, so they choose to just sacrifice that ban. TMC ban out the Dragon Knight, and Dragon Knight's been falling back into favor as well lately, just like the Weaver, as a very specific game type, especially pretty much only in the mid lane actually for Dragon Knight here. He's been coming back in more. The Chinese scene really introduced that in the later series of some of their games, like the G League and that kind of thing. More people that watch them, more people tried out that Dragon Knight at mid, and it is a good lane. It's very similar to the Magnus in that he kind of needs to Bottle Crow, or at least get every rune or something like that, as he relies on an AoE spell to farm, you know, that Breathe Fire. It tends to be a spell that he needs to use a lot to get good farm, just like the Magnus needs a Shockwave. So it tends to be a limited mid-hero, but still a pretty decent one. Against a Puck, perhaps not the best, but still at least somewhat reasonable. Function pick up the Darkseer for their offlane, so it looks like they're looking for a mid and a carry at this point. While the Mega Creeps still wait on their picks, they're looking for another support, an offlane, and a carry. So there's still definitely some good carries in the pool, like the Nakes. Nakes is probably one of the best carries still in. Luna, also another good carry that's been kind of going in and out lately. And the Anti-Mage, another very viable carry coming out from TMC here. And Function will be getting the next pick here, so that will probably either be the mid or the carry, I would imagine. So they might go for something like a Luna, possibly the Nakes. Nakes is reasonably good at dealing with Anti-Mage as long as you don't let Anti-Mage get farmed. As once Anti-Mage does get that Battle Fury... Oh, Night Stalker coming out from Function. I haven't seen a Night Stalker in quite a while. He tends to be run in the mid lane, and that will be a tough matchup against Puck. But once that first Night comes, it'll depend all depend upon how well that Night Stalker can snowball. If he can hit that first nighttime and just start snowballing and never stop, that will be a very, very scary hero to deal with, especially on something like an Anti-Mage or a Puck. If he can drop that silence on them, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Anti-Mage and Puck both rely very heavily on getting in and out of battle at the click of a button, really. Puck grabbing a Blink Dagger, their phase shift, the orb, all very mobile skills. Anti-Mage having that blink, they both rely on being able to engage and disengage very quickly. While the Night Stalker kind of just takes that away with the silence, with the slow, with his amazing move speed. He tends to lock them down a lot better. Jakiro being the pickup from TMC. So TMC is looking for the off lane. Looks like there is going to be a Syllabear still in the pool. There's still going to be a Windrunner in the pool. So there's Nature's Prophet. They have their options there. Function, going to be looking for a hard carry, I would imagine. Unless they go for something like a farming Night Stalker, which would be a little bit odd, as Night Stalker needs the early levels. So usually that mid lane is the Night Stalker's glory, as he does need the gold, he needs the levels, he needs the space to be able to snowball during that first night. So Function will likely be picking up some kind of carry, possibly the Luna, possibly the Nakes, as Nakes surprisingly still is in the pool. Possibly even a Sven. I could see a Sven working well with this lineup because of the Darkseer being able to pull everyone in, the Treant Protector being able to lock everyone down, and the Sven being able to just pop God Strength and cleave the crap out of everyone. So that would be a viable pick there. And Sven has fallen out a lot since TI2. He's still very strong, but still not exactly the best. He's decent. I would give him decent at this point. He's definitely a good carry, but he does have to farm a lot. And with the mobility coming out from TMC, it will be a little bit tough. TMC, on the other hand, still looking for that off lane. So, like I said, tons of options. Function chooses to ban out the Venomancer here. I'm not sure why, as Rubik and Jakiro are definitely their two supports, I would imagine, unless it's a mid Rubik and a Puck off lane or something strange like that. So TMC pretty much has their supports, their carry, and their mid hero locked down, and really just waiting on that off lane. They'll likely ban out some kind of carry, possibly the Nakes, possibly the Luna. Something along those lines would be more of a standard ban for them. Yep, and there goes the Nakes. So Function looking to pick up that farm and carry. I've even seen Viper come in a little bit, just usually not as a farming tri-lane farmer kind of carry, but Viper has made a slight resurgence into the scene, so that is another possibility for them. But once again, it's just going to be a little bit tough. They need some kind of lockdown. And the Phantom Assassin coming out from Function, it's a very interesting pick, as you've seen Phantom Lancer possibly in some of the pro games recently, but you see it usually almost always run by Alliance. I've seen one or two other teams run it, but almost always run by Alliance. And if you notice, every time they pick Phantom Assassin, they pick Magnus. That way Phantom Assassin doesn't need to waste any gold and time on getting a Battle Fury, because Magnus just maxes in power. So without that AoE here, Phantom Assassin might be forced to go for a Battle Fury and able to be able to keep up with the Anti-Mage. And Clockwork being picked up by TMC, definitely a decent offlaner that I did forget to mention, so good pick out from them, and very disruptive in those cogs and the hook and all that, so solid pick. But back to the Phantom Assassin here, they usually are picked with Magnus. Magnus provides that first item, quote unquote, in the Empower and allows the Phantom Assassin to go straight into damage or something of the sort. So we'll see how that works out for them. But anyway, on to introduce the teams. Let's start with the Dire here. It's going to be Inverse on the Night Stalker, Rick on the Treant Protector, Okamaya on the Darkseer, Point Given on the Phantom Assassin, and Sunfirestorm on the Visage. And this would be a pretty solid offensive tri-lane, I would think. I'm not sure if they'll choose to go that route, but that could definitely be an offensive tri-lane. And the Night Stalker does head towards mid like we expected. So let's head on right down to the Radiant here. It's going to be Hectic on the Puck, Dun on the Jakiro, Player 1 on the Clockwork, Ari on the Anti-Mage, and Errant on the Rubik. And this will likely be a farming safe lane, tri-lane kind of thing. So Jakiro and Rubik just really do not have the kill potential to be on offensive tri-lane, as they both have stuns, they both have some damage, but there's no real great kill potential there. So it is going to be a little bit harder for them to aggressively tri-lane. So they do choose to, in fact, go for the defensive. Rubik here going to be up against them on that defensive tri-lane, so it looks like the Dire here will be going for a defensive tri-lane as well, and that I think is a very good choice, because if they did try to go up against the super defensive tri-lane of TMC, they would have had a lot of trouble, and that probably would not have ended well for them, considering that the Treant Protector really just is not a fantastic tri-lane hero. It's a much better decision for them to all head up towards the top lane.
The battle begins.
Looking at the bottom lane, though, just to, think about that one there, the Darkseer will be able to push them away from the creep line a little bit, and that Anti-Mage will have a little bit of trouble dealing with the Ion-Shelled creeps, and that will provide a little bit of relief possibly on his farm. But that said, the Jakiro and the Rubik will be able to push him out of lane relatively easily, just because they have the disables, they have the lockdown, and if he does... he'll level Surge next, I'd imagine, on the Darkseer there. So if the Darkseer does choose to Surge, it will be rather easy for them to get a Telekinesis off, get a Nice Path off, something like that. Hectic, taking a lot of damage in mid, is probably going to be forced to pop that Salve any second now, as he is just getting very low already, and he does choose to just Treant up, or, sorry, not Treant up, Treants are the Niche Prophets, Tango up. That makes a lot more sense. So Inverse getting that harass on early, and he has gone for the Stout Shield and the quick bottle build, hopefully. So he will be able to get that up relatively fast. Stacking already going on the bottom, so that will be very easy for them to start getting lots and lots of CS on that Anti-Mage. When they start pulling that wave back time and time again, it's going to really limit what the Darkseer can do. Up on the top lane, though, they will likely be able to take this lane relatively easily. Clockwork just does not have the harassment or anything like that to be able to take on a tri-lane like this. So it is going to be very tough for him to be able to disrupt the PA's farm. And that's definitely a very, very good thing for the Dire here, is they will have a free farming PA to go up against the Anti-Mage. And luckily, there is one thing that definitely plays into the Anti-Mage pick here from the PA, and that is going to be that the PA doesn't really need mana. The only mana she really needs is the slow from the dagger, well, late game, of course, is going to be the slow from the dagger and a little bit of mana for the blink. So he is going to be able to initiate with the blink and the dagger, and that will be very fortuitous for him. But once he gets his mana burnt, if the AM does decide to just man fight him and stand there and trade right clicks with a PA, if the PA has more farm, has more tank, and gets RN lucky, gets very lucky with the RNG, random number generator there. If he does get a lot of crits, basically, let's put it that way. If he gets a lot of crits in a row, it'll be a quick and easy kill for him. So it's not going to be... Oh, and Rubik, slight misplay there, manages to lift a creep up instead of the Night Stalker. That could have been possibly not a first blood, as the Night Stalker is very tanky with 6 armor, the Treant armor, and 700 health, but definitely would have been a bit of good harass on him, so bit of a misplay, but not the end of the world. Hectic throwing out his orb already. Hectic trying to get the kill on the courier, does manage to get the courier, but is he going to trade his life for it? It looks like he might. He's very low, trying to bottle up as he's running away. Inverse low on mana as well, is not going to get off that void, and Hectic has gotten almost up to full health now. Telekinesis coming out from the Rubik to throw Inverse back, and that was a very, very ballsy play coming out from the Puck here, and that did allow him to get the courier kill, which will be very helpful in limiting the Night Stalker's refills of the bottle, but at the same time he did almost trade his life, so it was a very good play from him, managing to get away and also get the courier kill and get tons of gold for his team, and that is going to be very important for keeping everyone's advantage as high as possible in this game. The Rubik has rotated mid some, as you could see from the telekinesis there, and that will kind of lower the experience of everyone on their team, so it will be a little bit tougher to get all that experience up on the Radiant, as Hectic did have to trade a little bit of experience for dual laning, more or less, with the Darkseer there, or the Rubik there for a little bit. So the Night Stalker is pretty much a full level ahead of the Puck, and that could come into play once you hit that first nighttime. Once the Night Stalker does get up a couple more levels before that first nighttime, if he ends up into nighttime at level 7, level 8, possibly with an urn up or something of that sort, he is going to be very scary. Possibly treads if he chooses to go that route. Depending on what he wants to do, he could be very scary during that first nighttime. The pull camp has been warded here, so that is definitely going to be very nice for the Dire here, or the Radiant rather. So this ward looks like it will be blocking the pull camp, and that will force the Radiant to get some experience off of those creeps when the wave does push out, which it eventually will. And the Dire did try to deward it, but it's just not in range, or they didn't look quite in the right spot. So it is a very tough ward for them to find. But look like the Night Stalker is going to be keeping his level advantage and getting level 6 very, very soon. Likely not going to put that into his ultimate, though, as very few Night Stalkers will, because Night comes so quickly after level 6. It's just not worth it. Oh, he will go for the level 6. That's very surprising, actually. Most Night Stalkers will choose to go for the another point in one of his other skills. Usually the Hunter of the Night, pretty much Void and Hunter of the Night, usually get maxed first. So that tends to be a more popular build, but this Night Stalker has decided to put a point in his ultimate, and that will likely just to further his chase, further his escape as well from that mid lane in case he needs it. So that is going to be very helpful for him if he does get ganked, but perhaps a little bit of a weird build. Pulling continues here on the bottom lane, limiting the Darkseer's farm. He only has 7 last hits, which is very unusual for a Darkseer. Darkseers usually do extremely well in lanes, especially against a melee carry, but the Darkseer does not have a soul ring thanks to that courier being killed, so he has no mana after casting a couple of Ion Shells. He has to be very conservative with his Ion Shells, and speaking of conservative, casting them on a pretty much dead creep, perhaps not the best idea. But he will get that soul ring brought out to him momentarily as the courier has respawned now, and that just shows how big the impact of Puck killing that courier is. That disrupted so many people in lane. Inverse here in the mid lane on the Night Stalker has not been able to get his bottle filled in quite a while, and the Darkseer did not manage to get his soul ring yet. So that really disrupted both of their farm as well as both of their killing potentials. So it slowed everything down. It allowed the Radiant to get a lot more last hits, a lot more aggression coming out in these lanes, and just pretty much gave them a much better advantage on top of the 175 gold per person on that team. Inverse will be going straight for the DD rune here on bottom, and we'll just pop it immediately in order to get a little bit of that mana back. Puck looks like, he doesn't have much mana. Oh, that was because the bottle crowing did not help him at all there, as he could not for the longest time. Does pick up his urn though, so that will be some mana regen, and Puck does plant this ward, which will be key in pointing out exactly where he's going. He does only have 1 level in Hunter in the Night on top of his boots though, so that will be a little bit limiting in the fact that he only has 413 move speed, and I say only like that's a little, but that is a lot of move speed, don't get me wrong, but with multiple levels in Hunter of the Night by this point, he could have a lot more. That said, that ward allowed the Radiant bottom lane here to be a lot more cautious, pull back to the tower when they saw him coming, and come out and farm again when they saw him leaving. So a very good ward placement, possibly saving first blood on the bottom lane if Night Stalker decided to go that route, but definitely saving a little bit of hassle for that bottom lane either way. Up on top lane, it looks like they're going to be going on the Clockwork here if they can find the angle. But Clockwork playing it through the trees there very nicely, as the creep wave did spot out the couple of Dire heroes trying to go for that gank. So the creep wave gave him away, and Clockwork manages to get away. Point given, leading the creep scores here. And it looks like player 1 is going to be going after that courier or something, but he's not going to be able to catch it, and does get Gravekeeper's Cloak, Grave Chill, whatever it may be, on the other side. But he pops those cogs on the ramp and gets away scot-free, so no big loss for either side. A little bit of mana for Clockwork, a little bit of mana for Visage, and that will be the only problems there. Stacking happening on the bottom lane there, but Inverse will just sit on that and not allow it to stack. Good play by him, good awareness that the stacking was going on, but he still is getting absolutely nothing. He even just ran by a haste rune, and he will double back for it. but at the same time, he still is getting absolutely nothing. The Radiant are doing a fantastic job here of keeping him down during this first nighttime, and that's going to be very, very key in limiting his snowballing during the mid-game here. And he does end up back in the middle lane with the haste rune, not even able to get a kill with a haste rune at this point, which is a little bit worrying for the Dire, as they can't manage to get those kills that they need in the early to mid-game here on that Night Stalker. Without his snowballing, it's going to be a little bit tough for them to really get going, as once RE gets even more farm going, him and the PA are relatively close together in farm and relatively close together in levels, with a couple creep kills going to point given on the PA, but a couple of level, not even a couple levels, half a level or so going to RE on the anti-mage down there. So it's going to be about even for them either way. Couple kills, couple last hits here or there. Hectic is getting gone on by the Night Stalker, but the Rubik will be there and telekinesis and fade bolt him. Ultimate drop by Puck, though, to stun out the Night Stalker. There's nowhere he can go, and it looks like he will be giving up first blood. He takes first blood, gets a couple of last hits on the Puck, manages to take that first blood. Rubik is able to get a last hit. Oh, no, not quite a last hit, as Inverse does pop the bottle right at the end there and manages to stay alive. That was a fantastic play from him, realizing that when the Puck dropped that coil, he was able to still come back and get that kill off on that Puck, and that allows him to get first blood, and that was the advantage that the Dire were really looking for coming out of this first night time. Getting the kill on the Puck, and not even just getting the kill. Inverse on the Night Stalker managed to survive by popping a bottle charge at the very last second, and that allowed him to get just enough life to survive through that one last auto attack coming out from Rubik. Very nice play there by the Dire, and that will hopefully allow them to start steamrolling on that Night Stalker as much as they can. Player 1 taking some harass on the clockwork on the top lane, while the Dire here are starting to pull the top lane again, as that ward has expired from the Radiant. The Sentry ward there will have expired, so they can start stacking up and pulling some more again, which is only going to help this PA. This PA is already top of the charts on farm, and it's only going to get worse from now on if they don't start ganking. There's been little to no aggression coming out from the Radiant, which to me just says that the Radiant thinks that they can just outfarm and outfarm and outfarm. And both carries here, the anti-mage and the PA, both look like they're going for the Battle Furies, as they both have their Ring of Healths up, with the anti-mage having 1400 up, and will spend that on the Claymore immediately. So he's going a little bit more of a farming build, and wow, the PA has 3,000 gold already. Anti-mage has chosen to go treads instead of rushing the BK or the Battle Fury, whereas the Phantom Assassin has chosen to straight up rush the Battle Fury, and he will be getting rather close actually already to that Battle Fury with those 71 last hits. He is not going to be far off at all, up at 3,200 gold now. And the Night Stalker getting another kill in the middle lane, missed that one on you, but he does get a little bit low, manages to take out that Puck again, and that is going to be another great kill there. Very helpful in keeping that Puck down, and it looks like player 1 is going to wander into the river here, a little bit out there, and Point Given will drop the dagger as well as the blink, and it looks like player 1 will be going down to the PA, but no, Visage will come through and take that kill from the PA. Should have given that kill to the PA, but it's not going to be a big deal either way, as the PA does manage to get the extra gold there, and is now about 100 gold away from the Battle Fury, and that will probably end up being about a 12.5 minute Battle Fury here for the PA, and that'll be huge in accelerating her farm. Once she can start getting up the treads, get a little bit more farm going, she can really start that acceleration into the mid game and into the late game even, if she does choose to go for an extremely late game oriented build. The Dire are grouping up here on the bottom, with it still being nighttime for Inverse. He does get Ion Shelled and Tree and Armored up, so he's looking to dive. Jumps in on the Anti-Mage, but he will blink away. Void and Vacuum coming out there. No silence from the Night Stalker, though, as he has very low on mana, but RE is taking all that Ion Shell damage. It will go down to a right click from Inverse. Macropyre thrown out on Inverse will do absolutely nothing, as he just runs slowly out of it. But Sunfire Storm on the Visage will be caught out a little bit there, but the Tree and Armor is helping him out. Coil drop, telekinesis up, Ice Path coming in there, surged out from the Darkseer, but he can't go anywhere under that coil, and he will end up going down to the Rubik last hit. Okamaya getting caught out a little bit here now in the middle of nowhere, but the Tree and Armor will allow him to walk out, taking pretty much no damage there. Very good plays coming out from both teams, but the advantage definitely going to the Dire in that engagement, as they did manage to kill the Anti-Mage in that fight. That is is going to be huge, huge, huge in knocking down and slowing up his Battle Fury. Point given, going on player 2, does get a crit out and gets that kill. But between the dagger, the crit, the blink, he is looking at a lot of kill potential at this point. Already doing 130 damage per hit with that Battle Fury and getting rather close to his treads already. And that will be coming out rather soon. Or he could go phase boots if he prefers that route. Well, either one will be quite viable for him. The anti-mage is going to get chased up by Inverse on that Night Stalker. Night Stalker choosing to silence this time, but Arant is there with the telekinesis. So Night Stalker is going to get hit a couple times, and Ari is still getting pushed back. But that Void doing tons of damage. Ice Path just barely clipping Inverse, but the anti-mage is going to blink right into the Darkseer. Darkseer does not manage to cancel the salve, though. And on the other side, the Night Stalker is 1v3ing here and not really taking much, if any, damage. He has 5 earn charges, so even if he does, he will be able to heal up on the way out. But he does have 1,200 health and 13 armor, so there's really not a whole lot the Radiant can do to him there. Even stunning him up, not doing much of anything. Ari is managing to regen up here on the bottom thanks to that Ring of Health coming out from the Battle Fury. It looks like on the top lane, Point Given and Player 1 are jousting a little bit here. Hectic throwing out the coil onto the PA. Missing with the orb, though. It might be able to get the last hit. It does get the last hit with that Waning Rift. Sunfire Storm on the Visage also in a lot of trouble. The Clockwork and the Puck are both chasing him. Puck has no mana, though, for anything. Player 1 also has no mana on the Clockwork. He steals a bit of speed from them with the Gravekeeper's Cloak and the Tree and Armor coming out and saving him there. And you could just see the power of the Tree and Armor in that engagement. It saved them multiple times already. Inverse is able to dive towers on that Night Stalker whenever he feels like it, because he just has all that armor, all that health, and the Tree and Armor on top of that. He pretty much is almost immune to damage at that point. It's quite ridiculous how much they can protect him with all that on him. He has gotten out his phase boots, and it looks like he will be building into an armlet with the Helm of the Helm of Iron Will there being the first piece most likely. Player 1 is getting hit by the Gravekeeper's Cloak as well as the PA here. He does pop Battery Assault and gets Soul Assumption. Soul Assumption doing huge damage. PA is going to manage to finish off that kill with a dagger and a blink coming out there. And that is going to be 2 kills for the PA, and he has another assist. So that's going to be a lot of gold for him. He has his brown boots up, going towards what looks like possibly phase boots or treads. Still not able to really tell, but I would imagine it would be phase boots. Most of them tend to go phase boots, and they do manage to get that top tower with the Visage and the PA, both hitting up on that. Puck walking around here has managed to get up in Arcane Boots for his team, so he will be able to throw out that orb and the Waning Rift quite a bit more. He has been very active around the map, though, which is very nice. He's been throwing out that coil at every opportunity he gets, abusing that 85-second early to mid-game cooldown, and that really allows him to get those kills, get the lockdown, and get as much damage out in that time as possible. Anti-Mage is getting the broadsword out here, so he is about 500 gold away from his Battle Fury. Slight contrast to the PA in that he did not rush the Battle Fury. He rushed the Ring of Health and then got boots, got his treads out, and that he considered that of a higher importance than just straight up Battle Fury. Whereas the PA, on the other hand, did decide to go Battle Fury. It looks like Visage will be going down there. I heard the orb coming out, and between the Battery Assault, the Cogs, and that orb, he will be getting the kill. And a haste is up on Hectic. He does have his ultimate if he chooses to engage on the PA, but PA will smartly just back off when he sees that kill come out. So he will survive through that engagement, and player 1 done, and the Puck are going to just kind of defend that top lane with Puck going back to get some extra mana. The PA has gone for the phase boots build, and he has just gone straight into the jungle now and will be stacking up his own camps. With that Battle Fury, stacking camps is going to be wildly effective for him, especially if they can stack up the Ancients. And it looks like the Radiant have stacked 1 Ancients, but no Ancient stacks for the Dire here. They should really start doing that at some point, as the PA will be able to clear those. Hopefully, if he gets a Helm of the Dominator or something in the near future. And it looks like the Night Stalker is going to be taking tons of damage here in the middle lane, with the Ice Path just barely missing there. Slight miss from Dunn. Very hard hit Ice Path to hit. PA will be initiating in, but the Night Stalker will go down to the Waning Rift. It is misplay with Hectic coming in here, dropping the coil onto Point Given. Point Given breaking that coil and taking a last hit from the Puck. Good initiation coming out from the Puck between the Orb in and the Waning Rift to kill off the Night Stalker, as well as the coil coming out there to stop everyone's in their tracks. 3-on-1 down here at the bottom lane. Hectic throwing out the Orb is going to not jaunt there. He does not choose to jaunt. Visage is going to get the last hit there. And the Anti-Mage coming back on the other side to get the last hit on the Visage with his ultimate. Wall dropped, Overgrowth dropped, but it does not look like they're going to have the follow-through to kill him. Okamaya looks like he is stuck in the middle, or he just didn't feel like moving there. So player 1 will come through, cogs him, telekinesis stuff, and it surged up, but he will not be able to go anywhere in those cogs. He does choose to drop the Soul Ring, and will be going down to the Clockwork there. Not a whole lot he could do once he got caught in those cogs. He chooses to surge, though, in the middle of the cogs. Inverse, initiating it on player 1, throws out the Silence and the Void. Treant Protector getting the last hit there. Ice Path coming out on Inverse. Macro Pyre thrown out on the same spot, but Inverse will just quietly run around it. Throws out the Void on Dunn, and Dunn has nothing left to do here. He gets earned up from the enemy here. Throws out another Ice Path and might survive because of that, but the Void is still up from the Night Stalker. He throws out the Void, is going to be able to get the last hit on Dunn. Ari trying to slow that down, but does not manage to do so, and he just blinks away casually as Inverse and Rick here are just going to run away. Inverse on that Night Stalker has finished up his armlet, and that will be flying out to him as soon as the courier can, I would imagine. Puck back in the middle lane, throws out his orb to farm up a little bit, and the Night Stalker will be jumping in on this with the Void, and he chooses to run away. Missed coil from Hectic. That could have been a very good play coming out from him, but he missed the coil and a missed hook shot coming out from Clockwork. Two slight misplays, both of them missing probably by mere pixels, but both of them missing nonetheless. Not able to get the initiation out on Inverse there, and it looks like Anti-Mage has finished up his Battle Fury, going for the 19-minute Battle Fury instead of the 12-minute Battle Fury. So there is a 7-minute advantage on that Battle Fury and boots coming out from the PA, as PA does have about 12 more last hits than the Anti-Mage. The Anti-Mage also has 2 deaths. The PA now also has 2 deaths, so their kill score is going to be the exact same, but they have found the Radiance Ancient stack, and that'll be a lot of gold going towards this PA and the Visage. So they have found him out. Yep, the Rocket will scout them out, and this could be bad if Puck comes in. If Puck comes in, throws out the Waning Rift in the Orb, getting a bunch of damage out, and the Fade Bolt from Rubik will finish off the PA. A little bit of a misplay there, trying to take that Ancient stack without all the proper backup. Night Stalker will pick off the Clockwork on the backside. Night Stalker still stuck in those cogs, has no mana left, and it is daytime, so he will be forced to just back off into the jungle, but they will all be chasing him now. He is going to try to take the long way around and does bottle up to get a little bit more mana up on him. Has the Phase Boots and will be able to run it out a little bit, but RE will be chasing him, getting up a couple extra hits on him. Void, the Crippling Fear is being thrown out on RE. Inverse does have the Treant armor up, so we'll see if he'll be able to tank through this. He has 1300 health and 14 armor, so he is one incredibly tanky guy. Coil is thrown out. He breaks the coil, pops the nighttime. Well, nighttime happens, actually. And that Treant armor doing huge work here. Able to block all the damage coming out on Inverse and saves his life easily. The only reason he survived there was that Treant armor. Very, very well played. Great awareness coming out from that Treant Protector and saving his life. Sunfire Storm on the Visage does get cogged up, taking a lot of damage, and 3 of them all magically appear on top of him. Treant coming through with that seed, but it will not be enough, and Visage will go down there. Everyone will kind of back off onto their own respective sides. PA trying to run in, but a little bit late there. Night Stalker finally does get his armlet out to him, just in time for, you know, that fight to be over. But PA will go back to farming up his Ancients. Really needs to get up that Helm of the Dominator if he wants to do that, though. He does take huge, huge, huge damage from these Ancients. He has 1900, 2000-ish gold, so he will be able to get that up if he chooses to. Might go for something else in the meantime. Something like a BKB would be very, very helpful in this game, as there is a lot of lockdown coming out from the Dire between the Telekinesis, the Ice Path, the Waning Rift, the Coil, all very good at locking him down. So the Dire will throw out a Sentry Ward, but just slightly out of range of the wards up here on the high ground, so he will not be able to de-ward there. PA back to farming on the bottom lane while everyone else mills out around Roche. And the Radiant here seem a little bit scared. They're all huddling right by their base, hanging out right next to each other, really allowing the Dire here to farm up a bunch. And they check Roshan, thinking that they might be doing Roshan, but not quite the case for the Dire. They've chosen to just continue farming all over the map, as they are given a lot of space and a lot of time to do so. They have the map control. They've taken out all the tier 1 towers and lost none of their own. So they have all of the map control in the world, and that is going to allow them to farm up the Radiant jungle while farming up multiple of the Radiant lanes as well. Ari is out here a little bit alone, and the Night Stalker will be coming in here. It is nighttime. He blinks into the tree line, and let's see if the Night Stalker can find him. I'm not sure he's going to be able to. The Familiars will, though. Familiars doing tons of damage. Jeez. The Night Stalker managed to get that last hit on the Anti-Mage, and that is one of the huge benefits of coming in with those Familiars. They have the flying vision. They are able to fly over the trees, and they do massive amounts of damage with that full damage buff on them. So the Night Stalker, the Visage, managing to get the kill out on the AM. And once again, that is going to be a huge kill, as it's going to delay AM's next item, that Manta style. Well, the Yasha first, then the Manta style. But he does have the Blade of Alacrity, as well as the Band of Elf skin, so he is rather close to the Yasha, a couple hundred gold away, but he does not quite have it yet, and that death will certainly slow him down. PA, in the meantime, has picked up the Helm of the Dominators, already back up to 1,300 gold. He is going to teleport to the middle lane, possibly looking to do Roche now, as they are milling around there, and have thrown out quite a few sentry wards and extra wards down there. They are not killing off the wards. There they go. They do manage to kill off the wards. Not killing off the Observer quite yet. I'm not sure if they realize it's there. I'm not sure if that vision is going to quite be there. Let's check real quick. It looks... I mean, they have vision of it. I'm not sure if they have true sight vision, as it doesn't show that. And Visage will pause up the game, probably looking at some lag or someone dropping. Nope, mouse issues coming out from function here. And that'll give me a second to just break down the game and where it's at. Let's take a quick look at the gold graph here. And it is going 7,500 plus gold in favor of function. And that is very, very evident in the PA. The PA having farmed up the Helm of the Dominator, the Phase Boots, the Battle Fury, on top of the Night Stalker having an Armlet and Phase Boots, and the Darkseer doing well for himself at this point. Despite being shut down really hard early game, he has managed to come back and gotten the first piece of that pipe up with that hood, as well as the Tranquil Boots, the Soul Ring. A Vitality booster coming out from him as well. It's a bit odd, possibly starting to look at an Aghanims or something of the sort. I don't know what else you would build into with that. Possibly a Rod of Atos. I'm not sure why he would do that, but he could also be going Vanguard, I suppose. But I don't know, Heart, Vanguard, Atos, and the Soul Booster are going to be the only real choices there. So most likely I would imagine would be the Vanguard coming out from him, but the choices are still slightly up in the air. Treant and the Visage. Visage getting towards the mech, but still about 1,200 gold or so off, so he is a ways away there. Jakiro, same story. Rubik, same story as well. They both have their Arcane Boots up, which is definitely a positive here, but they are not really looking at much of anything else. Puck still does not have the Blink Dagger, and that just goes to show how hard those 3 deaths hit Puck, as well as the very, very, very good play from Night Stalker in middle, shutting down the Puck with only 30 last hits at 23 minutes. And that is going to be the story of this game for TMC. Just not enough farm on any of their heroes, as they are down 7,500 gold in less than 25 minutes, and that is going to be devastating. Clockwork has his Soul Ring up, and looks like he is going for the Blade Mail here, between the Chainmail and the Robe of the Magi. So that'll definitely be a good pickup for him. Especially if the PA doesn't have quite the reactions to stop attacking as soon as the blade mail is popped. If he does get a lucky/unlucky crit at that point, he will do a lot of damage to himself, and I think that's what Clockwork is really relying on. Visage will connect back up, so the game will get started in a second, and I already looked at Anti-Mage's items a second or two ago, so he's still in the same spot, so let's take a check at the XP. Once again, 7,500 in terms of the in favor of the Dire here, so Function pretty much stomping all over this game at this point, and checking out the net worth, and the PA, no surprise, going to be all up in that net worth graph with 9,000, pretty much, you know, 1,500 ahead of the Anti-Mage, which doesn't sound like a lot, but honestly, that 1,500 gold is almost a full Helm of the Dominator. That is going to be huge. That's a lot of gold, especially this early in the game. It's going to be a slightly big deal. The Night Stalker is going to have about as much gold, and it looks like there's going to be a slight engagement here, but no one's really going to commit to too much. Night Stalker is in the middle of everyone here, and just relying on how tanky he is with that armor, with that Treant Protector armor. He is going to get coiled up, and looks like he might be going down, taking tons of damage from the ultimate from the Anti-Mage, as well as the Orb and the Battery Assault coming out there to finish him off, and the Anti-Mage will manage to get that kill. He was way out there, though, way out there. Nowhere near where he needed to be, as the rest of his team was not even near him. But at the same time, they are trading that Night Stalker kill for a free Roshan on point given here, and he will finish that off, pick up the Aegis, and slowly walk right on out. So, trading the Night Stalker for an Aegis and a solo kill up on that Templar Assassin, or rather Phantom Assassin. He initiates in with the Blink, stunned up by the Ice Path and the Telekinesis, but he has that Treant armor, And, ooh, Treant Protector throwing out the ultimate on absolutely nothing. Total whiff there, but Point Given doesn't care. He's going to come through the crit and kill off the Jakiro in half his health in one hit. He doesn't quite have the mana to continue going here. He throws out the dagger on a run, but on the backside, Anti-Mage is getting hit up, but gets delayed by that wall. Phantom Assassin does manage to get the kill. Long-range hook coming out from player 1 on the Clockwork, and he is managing to get up some damage on the Visage, but not really going to be enough. Player 1 is going to be going down here in a moment or two. Point Given, huge damage coming out from that Anti-Mage, really splashing on a lot, but Point Given is going to manage to take him down. Triple kill going out to that Phantom Assassin. Huge damage coming out from him, and that Life Leech helping him out a lot. The Battle Fury doing huge work there, and he really had no fear, as that Aegis would pop, giving him a full life again if he had gone down, but the Anti-Mage not able to finish that one off, and I'm not sure if he had his ultimate during the fight or if that just cooled down, but that would have been very helpful, as Point Given had absolutely no mana there. That would have been an extra 400 or so damage, and that would have been huge in getting an AoE hit there on the Dire. But alas, it is going to be a couple kills going the way of the Dire, a triple kill going the Templar, keep saying Templar, Phantom Assassin's way alone. So steamrolling now, kind of snowballing into the mid to late game. Puck does finally get up her Blink Dagger, and that will be very helpful in evading a lot of this damage. But I'm not sure if that's just going to be too little too late, as the Dire is just kind of snowballing into the late game here, with everyone just getting so farmed. Point Given is already up to 3,600 gold. Could go for something like an MKB, something like a Butterfly. Will initiate on Ori. Ori silence up. Will go down to the Phantom Assassin and the Night Stalker. Coil is thrown out, but he couldn't quite run out of range of that fast enough, and he was silenced, so he could not blink anywhere, and that silence, key skill coming out from the Night Stalker there. He manages to get very good timing on it, making sure that Anti-Mage does not go anywhere, so Phantom Assassin can just crit and hit him as much as they want to. So bunch of extra damage coming out from him, and another very good kill on that Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage has spent a lot of time dead now, and just looking at the gold per minute, you can tell the Phantom Assassin is up at 520 or so, the Anti-Mage down at 360. Usually you see that the other way around, with the Anti-Mage being able to flash farm through the jungle once he gets the Battle Fury, and really just starts steamrolling the gold graph. But looking at that gold graph, it's already... Look at that drop. That flat area, don't be mistaken, that flat area is not the game. That is the pause. So they did manage to get it to stay flat during the pause, but then immediately after the pause, thanks to all those kills coming out from the Dire, that graph plummets. So already down to 12,000 advantage there, and 15,000 experience advantage for the Dire here. RE is silenced up again and getting hit by the Night Stalker. Night Stalker will manage to get that kill with the help of the Visage. Puck coming in, jumps on out. Player 1 coming in, and the Overgrowth coming out from Rick. Tons of damage being dished out by that Night Stalker. And standing in the Macro Pyre, though, he is going to take a lot of damage from that and the Cogs. He is going to get away, though, thanks to all that 2,000 health. But the Puck coming through with the Orb is going to throw it out, jaunt to it, get the silence out, but is going to die immediately after to the Void. He was looking for the Night Stalker, it seemed like, but jumping in there 4 versus 1, perhaps not the best decision on his part, and he will manage to go down. And mind you, that entire fight was 5 Radiant heroes versus 4 Dire heroes, with Templars, Phantom Assassin, not even being near the fight. He wasn't even close there. But he does choose to go for his own BKB, while the Night Stalker chooses the same route. They both end up with BKBs. And the Phantom Assassin already up at 1,300 health. That's a lot of gold. He is farming exceedingly well, being 5,000 gold above the Anti-Mage here. A little bit of banter coming out in all chat, making fun of Rubik and the Night Stalker. And they're all just joking around, having a good time. And that's what I like to see. No real hard feelings, it looks like, either way. Win or lose here, no matter how the game goes. Everyone is just playing this game for fun after all. I'm casting this game for fun, so it's good to see a lot of lighthearted, fun spirits coming through in this game. Anyway, back to the play. They're pushing up on the tier 2 tower on the top lane. All 5 Dire heroes are here, but the Radiant are choosing not to engage, with the AM just going to split push that tier 1. They only have 1 tower down for the Radiant here, though, so they are going to be in a lot of trouble there. Hectic getting caught out. Really just in no man's land up there. He is going to go down to the Visage's Soul Assumption, doing tons of damage to him. He does not manage to blink out, does not manage to phase shift anything, as he did get vacuumed back by that Rubik. And the Phantom Assassin will be initiating it while the Clockwork initiates on the other side. Managed to take out the Jakiro on 3 or 4 solid hits. Chasing out to the Rubik now, choosing not to blink in. RE does TP back from that middle lane on the anti-mage, and the Clockwork is going to go down, not going to go down, sorry. He was on the opposite side of the fight. I was looking at the wrong color there. But the Phantom Assassin is getting telekinesis up and caught out a little bit. Getting hit up by that anti-mage. He is not going to be able to blink out. There's no one to blink to here. Anti-Mage burning his ultimate there, but not managing to get that kill. And the armor coming out from the Treant Protector is going to help him get on out of there. Tons of damage coming out on that Anti-Mage right away, though. And PA will just initiate right back in. Aran is going to go down here to the Visage, getting that last hit. Overgrowth coming through, player 1 going down to the Darkseer. Anti-Mage is able to blink away for the moment, coming out with 75 health or so. Barely making it out alive, but making it out nonetheless. BKB is still down for the PA, so that will be another 30 seconds or so before that's back up. But he does still have the Aegis, so he can do pretty much whatever he wants. Hectic initiating in, blinking, Waning Rift, and jaunting out. Drops the ultimate on Point Given as well as the Visage. Point Given will just jump right in. He has no cares in the world thanks to that Aegis. Manages to get the kill on the Jakiro, fighting in the Macro Pyre. Does manage to get the 1200 or so crit onto that puck as well to get the kill there, and the Visage will manage to limp away on nearly no health at all. Point Given with the Treant Protector armor as well as the Helm of the Dominator will be able to lifesteal and regen back up almost to 3/4 health, 2/3 health at this point. Not a whole lot the Radiant can really do about this, as that Treant Protector, like I said, is just absolutely ridiculous. Treant Protector decides to go invisible underneath the tower. Not sure quite why, but the Anti-Mage does come out on the backside, tries to kill the Visage with his ultimate, but not doing nearly enough damage. 1,000 damage crit coming through with the PA, but RE does manage to limp away, and it looks like Rubik has stolen the tree armor, and that'll go a long way towards securing his team and getting them a bunch of extra health, and that is possibly one of the best deals you could possibly make. Inverse here on the bottom lane on the Night Stalker does manage to get BKB and silence up the puck, manages to get the kill there, hitting up on that Anti-Mage, but Anti-Mage is just going to blink away. He reinitiates on him. RE is going to go down on the Anti-Mage to the Night Stalker. Night Stalker getting that kill, but trading his own life for it, with that Jakiro getting probably the last hit, but splitting the gold between Clockwork and Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage buying back to try and defend this top racks in the meantime. Meantime, that top tower and the top racks look like they're going to be going down. The Visage Familiar is getting the last couple hits there, but not managing to get all of them. Point Given initiating in on the Anti-Mage. We'll get a couple quick hits, a crit, and a kill. Getting the Jakiro, rather, as well. He will get telekinesis up after the end of that BKB and throw him back. Manages to get a first hit crit on that Jakiro. Couple thousand or 1,000 or so damage for him. The Blade Mail doing work on player 1. Point Given does not quite realize that the Clockwork has that Blade Mail up. Ultimate coming out from Puck, but the ultimate also being thrown out from the Treant Protector locks everyone down. Phantom Assassin doing tons of damage still in there. Gets picked up and thrown down, but will initiate back onto the Rubik, and he is at 12 kills at this point. So the Aegis did expire a couple minutes ago, but he still does not care. Jumping in recklessly. He is very farmed with 6,700 gold, and the GGs will come out from the Radiant here. Function will take this game with the PA pick, working out well to their advantage. The Radiant here did allow him to farm early game, and farm he did. He managed to get tons of last hits, got that exceedingly fast Battle Fury out, and that Treant Protector playing a key role, really just allowing everyone to dive towers as much as they wanted. That NS, while he didn't steamroll too hard in that first night, he did manage to get the first blood, and the Treant Protector did manage to save a lot of lives. So he did manage to do a lot during that game with that living armor, coming out clutch in so many situations. And that is going to go back to AC's new petition: ban Treant, pick Treant, do something with Treant first round. Ban Treant is going to be the moral of this game. Ban Treant, or you are going to have to deal with his absolutely ridiculous living armor, basically making any hero viable at this point in the game, as they're going to be more or less invincible. He wins every lane on the map at the same time, including his own, if they don't manage to aggressive try and take him down. But the GGs are already out. 4 are disconnected from TMC. So this is looking like it's going to be it for me. Thank you guys for listening to my cast today. I'm SeeC, and you can check me out at youtube.com/SeeCDota, twitch.tv/SeeCDota, and twitter.com/SeeCDota. all spelled SeeC Dota. Check me out, subscribe, give me some likes, give me some follows, whatever you can do, and most importantly, give me some feedback. I love listening to feedback, making a better product for you guys, so let me know what you think. And just so everyone is aware, I might be downloading some new products in the coming days with an audio-only option possibly coming out once I can figure out how to set that up. And it looks like the game will end. Throne will go down once everyone is disconnected. But I will be downloading an audio-only option, hopefully up in the next week or two. So keep your eye out for that and let me know how I did. Give me some more games to cast. I'm always open for more games. So keep it coming and thank you for listening today. Have a great night, Dota fans.